Hey guys, Halloween Dan here, doing one of my random discussions today where I'm talking about Halloween, of course. Crazy. Who'd have thought it? I like doing these videos every now and again. Sometimes I feel like it centers me. I spend all this time talking about props and animatronics and my favorite ones and my horn and what I'm building and blah blah blah. Sometimes I can kind of lose sight of what it is that I love about Halloween, the reason that I'm into it in the first place. And I like doing these videos because it kind of takes me back. It sort of recenters me and makes me go, oh yeah, this is why I love Halloween. This is why I'm obsessed with Halloween. So that's what this kind of video is today. It's a chat about one of the many aspects of Halloween that I love. So if you want to get in on this, if you want to join in this conversation, please comment in the comment section below with why you love Halloween. I love hearing everyone's reasons because everyone's got a different one. Please like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And yeah, let's just get straight into this. So like I said in the intro, I love doing these sorts of videos. I love talking about what it is that makes me love Halloween so much. And amongst all the different reasons, that like with everybody, I think there's all kinds of different things come together to make a whole unit in this case and make me love Halloween just off the scale love of Halloween. I've talked about my love of movies, music, the props, the animatronics. I've all the different things about Halloween that I love and that I'm sure many of you out there love too. But there's one thing I've sort of touched on but never properly gone into about, and it's probably the most obvious thing to love about Halloween in some ways. But I just thought I had to sort of put my cards down on the table and talk about this particular thing. Because one of the biggest things that I love about Halloween, and one of the hugest parts in my life that made me love this time of year, is the time of year, the autumn, or if you're American, the fall. I love autumn time. It is without a doubt my favourite season. I like all the seasons for lots of different reasons, but the autumn just has it's got my heart. It really does. It is my favourite time of year in every single way that there can be one. And I think as well a big part of what makes me love the autumn time, yeah, it's the leaves changing colour, yeah, it's the slight chill in the air, but there are a few particular moments from my life that make me go, isn't this a great time of year? One of the biggest things about the autumn that I love is the weather. Now, I like all kinds of weather, but I'm living in the UK, the kind of weather I'm about to talk about is probably the most common. But I am definitely what you would call a pluviophile. Now don't worry, it's nothing dodgy. It basically is somebody who loves rainy, wet, sort of cloudy and sort of not particularly nice weather actually, but finds kind of a peace in that, kind of loves the rain and all that kind of stuff. And I am that person. I love rainy weather. Now I'll just clarify, I don't love it so much if I'm on a day out somewhere or on holiday, and I certainly don't love it on Halloween when I want to keep my props and things as dry as possible. But the rest of the time, any time of year, especially on days when I've got nowhere to go, I love to watch the rain. I love those days where you wake up and it's raining, you can hear the rain against the window, and you've got nowhere to go and nothing to do, there's nothing planned, and I make myself a lovely little cup of tea, and I stand by my window with that cup of tea, watching the rain in true basic bitch fashion and just take it in. I love it. I really do love it. I love thunderstorms. I love mist and murky days, misty murky days, dark sort of thundery days. I really, really, really like it. And the autumn is full of days like that. It is wall to wall days like that, especially in the UK. Now I know depending on what part of the world you live in, your experience of autumn is going to be different from mine. Autumn here in the UK, it gets a bit chillier, the days are growing shorter, it's getting a bit darker. The weather certainly takes a turn for the worse, but that's something I like. And it's just generally, it feels like a time to get kind of cozy, to kind of come inside and cozy under a blanket and watch a movie and all that kind of stuff. There's a particular phenomenon we get here as well. It's not a phenomenon. It probably happens everywhere, but especially in the autumn time, it becomes a very sort of, the light is slightly different. I think it's the way the angle of the sun is cast through the clouds. It kind of gives this strange, it's cloudy but also a little bright at the same time. It's a weird phenomenon that we get here in the UK. It kind of makes it look a brighter atmosphere than it should do with dark clouds hanging over your heads. But also we get a lot of mists and fogs. And where I live, we live out in the countryside. And not far from where we are here, there's a river called the River Dane. And it sits in a valley. And we would go down there as kids all through the year. It was a fun place to hang out. And it was a fun place to hang out at all times of year, but especially in the autumn, because it would suddenly get a bit creepy down there. It would be a bit weird and a bit creepy. And we as kids would try to scare each other, tell each other spooky stories about a grey lady who haunted the woods down there and all that kind of stuff. Just to wind each other up, really. But one particular evening, I do remember standing on the bridge that crossed the River Dane, looking out across the fields. It was getting dark, it was getting cold, and a mist started to develop over the fields. Very faint at first, but slowly growing, and the mist kind of grew and started to drape itself down over the river. It basically looked like that perfect kind of misty fog that we as haunters tried to recreate in our haunts, that lies low to the ground. And then we watched it creeping towards us across the field. And I have to say, even though I knew there was nothing spooky about it, as it started to creep towards the road where we were stood, there was a little bit of an eerie atmosphere to that, I'm not going to lie. And it's that atmosphere that exists and that creeping of that fog and things like that I love about the autumn. You just don't really see any other time of the year. You might see it in the winter, and sometimes you might see it in the spring, but not in the same way. It doesn't have the same feeling to it somehow, and I don't know why, but it doesn't. Then there's all the other traditions about the autumn that I love. I love going for walks in the woods, enjoying all the different changing leaves. We as a family have always gone chestnut picking and conker picking. If you don't know what a conker is, it's the nut of the horse chestnut tree. You can't eat them, they're just fun to collect, and we used to see who could collect the biggest or who could collect the most. So that was always a fun sort of autumn pastime. Or chestnut picking, because my dad loved eating roasted chestnuts. So it goes back to that thing of going out, spending a morning collecting chestnuts in the woods, the leaves slowly dropping to the ground around you, and then taking those chestnuts back and roasting them on an open fire. That really kind of puts that time of year firmly in my head as something fun and different from everything else, and sort of just something a little bit almost magical about that time of year. And I know I've said this before about mystical magicalness and spiritualness about the autumn and Halloween in general, but I genuinely feel that sensation at that time of year, a kind of a magic that you can't completely put your finger on, but it's there, it's definitely there. And that's why I think I am so obsessed with Halloween, because I try to kind of capture that eerie magicalness in my haunt. I've never really fully achieved it, but I try nevertheless. And then there's the traditions of Halloween itself. Away from the decorating and the props and all the rest of it, there are the simple traditions of getting a pumpkin and carving a pumpkin. That's one of the best things at Halloween. I love getting creative with a pumpkin and doing whatever crazy pattern comes into your mind, or just a really simplistic pumpkin. There's something, again, a bit magical about that whole thing of getting a pumpkin and carving it and putting a little candle inside. It is something different that you don't experience any other time of the year. And it all ties into this autumny existence. And if you live in a part of the world where you don't experience autumn that way, where you don't get the changing of the leaves and you don't get all that kind of stuff going on and the weird misty, murky kind of weather, then I almost feel sorry for you in a way. There are so many people in this country that would disagree with me firmly. They would say that it's horrible, that weather. It's, ugh, God, bring back summer, all is forgiven. I'm not one of them. That weather, that feeling, that atmosphere is what makes autumn the best season for me. And of course, a big reason of why I love Halloween, because Halloween is the Christmas of autumn, of course. That's how I view it anyway. And it's just the culmination of everything to do with that time of year. And I love every last bit of it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I know this is a random video. I know I do way too many of these chatting about what makes me like Halloween. I just like doing it. I like talking about the things that make me like Halloween. And, and I like hearing back from you. What is the reason you like Halloween? Are you an autumn lover? Is that your favourite time of year? Why is it your favourite time of year? Let me know. I like to feel a little bit less like a freak when I do these kind of videos. But I kind of do it as well. I've said this too, because it's like a bit like a therapy session. Even if it only has like 3 views, this video, I kind of feel like I've sort of gotten this off my chest, had a little chat about the time of year that means the most to me. And if it means the most to you, let me know why. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching if you've watched all the way through, and I will see you in the next one. Keep it spooky. Bye.